Good evening, good Shabbos, and welcome to our service this evening. Let us begin on pages 2 and 3, and Susan Landau will lead us in the Shabbat candle blessing.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. Okay. Oh my. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Page 6. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Let us continue together. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our own human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. Page 10, Hine ma tovu manayim. Page 28, please rise for the Baruch. Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever. Page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Ma'ariv Aravim. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. We continue with the Shema. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Please be seated, and we continue on 37.
Oh
on the top of page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 42, Hashkiven. At the bottom of the page, blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. On page 44 at the bottom, those who keep Shabbat by calling it a delight will rejoice in your realm. The people that hallow Shabbat will delight in your goodness. For being pleased with the seventh day you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing our attention to the work of creation. Page 46, please rise for the tefillah.
Yeah.
of page 52, Ata Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh u'Kadoshim b'chol yom yehalalucha Selah, Baruch Ata Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated, and let us continue on page 54. You set aside the seventh day for your name, the pinnacle of creation, and you blessed it above all other days, more sacred than all festival times. So it is written in your Torah, the heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day God had completed the work that had been done, ceasing then on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, and ceased from all the creative work that God had chosen to do. Let us continue praying at the bottom of the page. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest, sanctify us with your mitzvot, and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness, and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai our God, grant as our heritage your holy Shabbat, that Israel, who sanctifies your name, may rest on it. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch Ata Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. On page 56, Ritzeh. in the middle of page 59. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us, we mortals that you take note of us? You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shemcha, v'lachana lechodot. Page 60. Shalom Rav Ar Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam, Ki Atahu Melech Adon L'chol HaShalom, V'tov B'yanecha Levarech Et Amcha Yisrael B'chol Eit U'B'chol Sha'a B'shromecha. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, HaMevarech Et Amo Yisrael B'Shalom. A few moments of silent private prayer. Page 253, Prayers for Healing. We pray for all those who are ill, all those who are suffering, all those who are affected so negatively by the recent storms. Mishaberach avotenu ve'imotenu Avraham, Yitzhak ve'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel ve'Leah, hu yivarech et hacholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill, and let us mention members of our congregational family in particular: Sue Burstein, Dr. Robert Kaufman, Ruth Orn, Peter Roth, Ted Simon, Zachary Pastor, Ruth Lerner, Erwin Pastor, Barbara Gross. And do we have additional names? Yes, Suzanne. Am I seeing? Yes, go ahead.
Carol Walker and Marsha Bednash.
Angie Cafaro.
Becky Thornhill. All those in South County.
Yes.
Naples, Fort Myers.
Yes.
Northport.
May they all be granted a refuah shlema, a complete restoration of good health. May the Eternal One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us all say amen as we sing together. Page 258, prayers for our community. Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us: love of Torah, devotion and prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy. Baruch atah Adonai she'otcha levatcha b'yirah na'avod. Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, so that the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry, and take the wretched poor into our homes. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness. I am going to be combining my remarks and some announcements all together. But first, we offer a prayer of thanksgiving, of gratitude, that we are alive and well. No matter how bad off we are right now, just look not that many miles away from us. I am going to read with you. We're going to pray the Gomel benediction at the bottom of page 253. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shegemalanu kol tov. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has bestowed every goodness upon us. Mi shegemalchem kol tov, hu yigmolchem kol tov selah. May the one who has bestowed goodness upon us continue to bestow every goodness upon us forever. You're aware of the fact that our Torah scroll that's at the top of the ark is one of the Czech Torah scrolls. And the American branch of the organization that protects and preserves and let us have this on permanent loan got in touch with all the rabbis on this coast of Florida to make sure the Torah scrolls were okay. I immediately emailed back and said, yes, we're okay. People to the south of us aren't. I got an email, I guess, this morning to all the rabbis again, and I was included, because someone from the other coast of Florida wants to do a little bit of a story on one of the news broadcasts, and I'm not sure which one. And I suggested, no, I'm not the one to talk to you. Talk about those congregations where they literally had to go and try to rescue the Torah scrolls, where high holiday services could not take place on Yom Kippur, where services had to be done by Zoom, and people don't know what state they're in or what state their homes are in. So we have a lot to be grateful for, and we need to keep this in mind. And if we think about it too much, we realize the overwhelming power of nature and our helplessness. But when that happens, we need to take advantage of all the goodness that has been bestowed upon us. Now, one of the good things that has been bestowed upon all of us is that we are still here. And some of us are celebrating birthdays. I understand someone has a birthday today. Happy birthday, Nancy. And I understand Brian has a birthday this week. Now, there are other people on my list of birthdays, but they're not here tonight. They're out partying. But did I leave anybody out? No, okay.
Is Lisa's birthday tomorrow?
Yeah, that's tomorrow. Yeah, but she's not here. We'll honor her tomorrow. Oh, I got a whole list of them. Yes. You want me to read the list?
Well, if they're Zooming.
If they're Zooming, you're right. You're absolutely right, because I have something to say about Zoom in a moment. Nancy Eisenstadt, of course, Gail Lewis, Elise Galinsky, Bunny Skirball, Carol Edelman, Brian Lipka, and Amy Schaffer. Now, with regard to Zooming, I have to say I was overwhelmed first by the turnout in person for the high holidays, and especially on the day of Yom Kippur and the late afternoon services. It was unexpected, and we're not supposed to be pessimists, and I was more optimistic than others, but it was better than I ever expected. We also have, what is it now, 70-some viewings. And when we count the number of viewings, it's not the number of people, because sometimes 2 and 3 people are viewing together. I have already received notes by email and calls from people in New York and Philadelphia who are extended members of our congregational family, thanking us for doing all of this. And to Shauna, who is sitting in the back, thank you very, very much. This is really, really appreciated. And if any of you, for any moment, wondered whether we should be doing the live streaming or not, there is no doubt in my mind. There are people who did not come back from up north, people who evacuated, people who just consider themselves part of our community. I wish we don't have the technology to know exactly who was on the Zoom, but it would be fascinating to find out. It's something we can celebrate, and I'm very, very happy we did it. Now, what are you supposed to do when Yom Kippur is over? And I mean when it's already dark and you've had something to eat and all of that. Did I say something funny?
Yeah. Ann was our comedian of it.
Before you go to bed, because obviously you are tired, you are supposed to start building your sukkah. Now, you're too tired to build your sukkah, but symbolically, and we're talking about the olden days when people used hammers and nails, you're supposed to put at least one nail in and hammer something, at least symbolically start the process. And for those of you who came in, you can see our sukkah is standing. We celebrate that because in previous years, because of all kinds of complications, we couldn't do it as well as we had in the past. And this is an invitation on Monday morning, first day of Sukkot, Sukkot morning service. Afterwards, we will have our Kiddush in the Sukkah. Now, if we are going to celebrate, and there are too many people who are too sad right now, so I'm emphasizing celebration. One of the things that I really liked about this congregation when I first heard about it was that on the festivals, like Sukkot, we do the celebration on that very day. So many congregations, it's the nearest Shabbat. That's not my style. I mean, I recognize the realities that people face. They don't have a choice, etc. But it gives me an extra feeling this is something significant and important. And for those of us, the 1 or 2 of us who aren't working full time, we have that freedom. It's not that our work schedules get in the way. We can celebrate Sukkot. Now, on a less than upbeat note, I have been collecting comments and words that people say just in normal speech without even realizing what they are saying that sort of, I want to say, rub me the wrong way. When people say, you know, of course we're Jewish. I mean, we celebrate all the holidays. Now, it depends on who says it and what circumstances, and it's not my style always to be confrontational, but a good confrontational question would be, oh, you do, all the holidays. Name, let's say start with 7. So after they start with Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and Hanukkah and maybe Passover, they're stuck. Well, Sukkot technically is just as important as Passover. And for those of us who want something we can see and feel and taste and everything else, we have a lulav, we have an etrog, we have a sukkah, and we're supposed to eat in the sukkah. And ideally, some would even sleep in the sukkah. It says you're supposed to dwell there, and for those of us who don't actually sleep in the sukkah, we fulfill the obligation where it says leishev b'sukkah, to sit or to dwell. Well, you sit down in a chair when you say one of the blessings, and technically you fulfilled that obligation. But it reminds us of one of the big challenges that we face right now. Our ancestors had to live in temporary dwellings. Look at the people right now who don't even have temporary dwellings, whose homes aren't there anymore, where you hear they're not even allowed to go back and inspect what's left or maybe salvage some of their treasures. And I mean treasures in every sense of the word. It helps us remember how fragile life can be. And we were talking earlier, what if there's a horrible wind that blows the sukkah down? Well, that happens too. And that reminds us of the fragility of Sukkot, of this season, of life in and of itself. So I want to look at things from this positive perspective, despite all the negativity. We are here, we can celebrate, we have our building, we have electric. We worried about that. We have our lights, we have our air conditioning, though it's been cooler recently, and that is nice. And I hope all of you have your electric back on, and I hope all of you have your internet. We were without for a few days. Again, I just want to comment how dependent we are. And we're all old enough to remember when we didn't have any of this, but we're now dependent. And again, it reminds us of what is important in life and what isn't. I gave the example the other day that one of my older sons started panicking that he couldn't reach me, and he starts preparing for the worst and everything else, and he made me promise that I would call him every day now for the rest of his life to assure him, well, that's not going to happen. I mean, after all. But that nervousness, because we are so used to being able to be in touch. So let us celebrate that sense of being in touch. And let us enjoy the benefits that we have right now. And as we get together, hopefully on Sukkot, or if not on Monday morning, at least next Friday night, the Shabbat during Sukkot, which is a special Shabbat, that we rejoice in the fact that we have a place to worship, that we have homes to live in, and that we have food to eat at this very, very difficult time. I hope we can be inspired to take all this seriously, and not to say after a week or so, oh, it's all over, I can forget about it. And whatever the myths are out there about Indian cemeteries protecting us and all of that, they told me that when I moved here, and they said, you never have to worry in Sarasota. Well, I don't know if the world works that way. I certainly don't believe that it works that way. If it makes you feel better, wonderful, but at the same time, prepare for the worst. So let us enjoy what we have, and let us move forward. And just one more comment. At this point of the service, where we're practically finished, I forgot how short our Erev Shabbat services are after standing up here all day on Yom Kippur. So let us now turn to, where are we? We're going to turn now to page 283, and please rise for the adoration. And it seems like I have that honor too this evening. please be seated. A prayer before the Kaddish on the top of page 291. It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world. In each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one, whose life now ended brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone and every life finds purpose. We mentioned the recently departed, and I am sad to have to announce the recent passing just a couple of days ago of Temple member Gail Sinek. We also mention other recently departed members of our congregation: Murray Blueglass, Ralph Einstein, Mary Ann Simon, Leon Dinitz, Marlene Gardner, Milton Tambor, Risa Loshek, Warren Colville. And we remember those whose yahrzeits occur at this time: Stanley Lowenstein, Ruth Salk, Tola Lieberman, Sidney Sinek, Rose Weiner, Albert Goodstein, Carol Moyer, Jordan Friedman, Joe Rosenfield, James Rosenbluth, Joan Misray. Do we have additional names anyone wants to mention? Oh, yeah. May their memories stay alive in our hearts and our thoughts and our deeds as we turn to page 294. Please rise for the Kaddish. Yit Gadol, Vit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma Divrach Herutei V'amlik Malhutei, V'chaye Chon of Yomei Chon, V'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala Uvizman Kariv Imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'alam Ul'almei Almaya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar V'yitalei V'yitalal Shmei Dekutsha Brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata damiran v'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the source of peace grant peace unto those who mourn and comfort the bereaved among us, and let us all say Amen. Please be seated. I guess I have the honor of giving the announcements tonight. There'll be a service, obviously, Shabbat morning service and Torah study tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Monday morning, 10 o'clock, first day of Sukkot service, and we will have a nice Kiddush in the Sukkah. A week from Monday, Shemini Atzeret and Simchat Torah service and Yizkor. And as I'm looking at the list here, there's the BIW luncheon on, did we change that?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday the 18th, yes. And there's a Shabbat dinner on Friday, November the 4th. We're really moving ahead. So you're all welcome at all these wonderful events. And did I leave anything out with announcements? I don't think so. No.
The Education Center stuff starts on the 7th, so you can still register for class.
Okay, sounds good. And Education Center is starting up soon, and University will start up soon, and we'll be sending out a special e-blast or whatever with the topics that are in the process of formulation. So please turn now to page 5 and rise and join in the singing of the Kiddush. And everything is hiding down. Please remain standing as we turn to page 345 and conclude with the singing of Tfilat Haderech. Once again, thanks to all of you for being here this evening. Thanks to Ann and the choir and to Shauna. May we all be blessed with a healthy, safe Shabbat. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Eternal One bless us by protecting us, by being gracious unto us, by granting us peace. Good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.